welcome back to a new episode of the Royal Watcher podcast. Today, Sam and I are going to be talking about the spectacular tiaras we saw during this week's state visit to the UK from the South Korean President First Lady that really brought us quite a lot of surprises.
I mean, yeah, that's putting it lightly. It was a sheer bonanza of tiara surprises, and I think everyone's still reeling from it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite a interesting few days where I think, had stopped expecting new stuff. And then just when we got it, it was quite a big surprise.
Yeah, 100%.
So at the beginning of the state visit, we actually got a bit of a sense that this is a bit more special than we were used to. And Queen Camilla was wearing a massive sapphire brooch, which we call Queen Mary's Russian sapphire brooch, but there's a lot of kind of speculation that it's not actually Russian.
Oh, I don't know. I think it is. Just because it's
Well,
set the way it's set, it's the double
it's very Russian.
the double row of diamonds.
Yes. But our friend Beth, she has a different theory that it was acquired by Queen Mary in 1934, but from British Baroness. So, and there is a kind of significant paper trail to back that up as well. So we never really know which kind of, she might have acquired it from the Russians herself. So there may be a Russian theory there, yeah. True. And then the Princess of Wales was also in sapphires, wearing Princess Diana's sapphire earrings. And I think this is one of those jewels that she's been wearing quite a lot recently. I think she wore them last week as well. And their most kind of interesting part of this is that Princess Diana only wore these in the evening, but Kate has primarily worn these for daytime events. So even though they're pretty substantial, she's worn them for like quite casual things like plane journeys and stuff. So it's an interesting way, like she's adapting the jewels for her own use rather than how they've been used in the past.
Yeah, I can't say I was a fan of this particular look. As I said on my Instagram, one of my
you can see on the next slide what you're talking about. Kate wore this. I actually like the idea of the cape, but the 3 layers made it like seem a lot more bulkier than the kind of what they were intending for, I feel.
Yeah, maybe they thought it would be colder. It's actually quite mild in London at the moment.
Oh, really? Because looking at the outfits, I was like, it must have been freezing.
No.
And then we all got that bit of a daring moment from Kate when people got a glimpse of her legs while she was exiting the car, and half the internet went into a meltdown. Some for good reasons and some for not so good, but
I know.
Well, you know, what can we do? But I think with Queen Camilla and the Prince of Wales, both of them were really in a coordinated effort, and they were trying to replicate the colors of the Korean flag through their jewels and their clothes, which I find like one of those like very in-your-face ways of diplomatic dressing.
Yeah. They do often. I mean, they do often do that, don't they? Sort of wear the national color.
We've kind of gone away from in the past, Catherine used to wear like whatever country they were visiting or that was visiting them, they'd wear like a designer from that country, but now she's very much more focused on British fashion, and this is the sort of nod we get now rather than highlighting those local designers.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah, but enough about the day's jewels. I think in the next slide, you can see what we've been waiting for, which was that spectacular state banquet at Buckingham Palace that evening, where we saw the king and queen with the president and first lady here. And before we get to the jewels, the king was the only royal who got a Korean order. And on his coat, you can see the 3 diamond stars of the Order of the Bath, the Thistle, and the Garter, with his Korean order and star on the other side. And the placement is actually quite weird because he should have worn the breast star on his left side, but instead he's wearing it on his right, which is technically incorrect.
Okay. I didn't even know Korea had orders.
No, actually they do. And in Sweden, they gave their lower order, which has a pink sash, to the Queen, Crown Princess, and Prince Daniel. And if the Brits had given the First Lady an order, I feel that they would have gone the lower orders as well, but their order exchange is so kind of all over the place these days that the fact that King got one is quite a miracle in its own right.
Uh,
Yeah, and then in the next slide, you can see what we've been waiting for is that Queen Camilla wore the Burmese ruby tiara for the first time.
She did. She did. That was a very nice surprise.
Yeah,
I was hoping to see the rubies on Catherine, given the big red outfit during the day, but now I'll shut my mouth. They were busy. They were busy that night.
yes, they were. And I actually do. So I used to hate this tiara, and I think anyone who read The Order of Splendor has the same kind of prejudice against it. But the past couple of years, it had been growing on me, and to see it worn now, I think I do really love the way Queen Camilla wears it. More open, and you can see she's made some changes to the frame overall, but it suits her face shape much better than ever did the late Queen and her iconic hairstyle.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's Camilla does have pretty good tiara hair, if we're being honest.
Yes.
But
And I think so far there's never been a tiara that she hasn't pulled off like amazing, and that's all due to her.
yeah, and I think it's just the fact that she's opening the tiaras out more, whereas the Queen might have had hers more enclosed. Again, like you said, it might have been a hairstyle thing, but it looks so much better opened out than it does enclosed as it was on the late Queen.
Definitely no, and I'm excited in the next reign, and I mean the Twitter haters got me for saying that, but to see it on Queen Catherine one day, because Camilla's hair is kind of iconic in its own right, but Catherine has she kind of her hairstyle still varies bit by bit, so we can may see it like with different hairstyles and see how it looks with hair up or hair down,
Yeah, or
and I
dark
kind of
hair.
see it and dark hair, so that'll be very interesting to see later on. Uh, because Camilla, now that's open, how it'll look on Catherine. Because Camilla can wear the large tiaras very well, but Catherine has even like smaller tiaras look quite big on her. So it'll be definitely like something to look forward to.
Definitely.
And then with that, she's wearing the crown ruby necklace also for the first time. And that's actually one of my favorite pieces. And it means that we're not too far off from an appearance of the Oriental circlet tiara, I hope.
Oh, yeah, that would be nice. Well, we did think maybe that was a possibility. They're not big with rubies, the British royals, so it's nice to see that they're
These
being
are the
rolled
only
out again.
Yeah. I mean, the queen barely wore them. I think she wore it with this necklace because the queen mother had it for 50 plus years,
Yeah.
even though she could have handed them over. But the queen wore them a couple of times in her old age, but not too frequently. And now that Camilla has it, it does suit her very well. And I kind of like it without the pendant a bit more. It makes it seem more kind of accessible, where the pendant kind of makes it look more stiff.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, and then the earrings. These are Camilla's earrings that she received from a Saudi prince in the mid 2000s, and actually they have three kind of hanging elements, but she's removed one of them, and they're shorter than the original form. But they also, because the rubies are in the tiara, the necklace, and the earrings are all different shades, but they do somehow complement each other.
They do. That's one of the wonderful thing about rubies. They do come in such a lovely range of hues, as they call it.
Yes. So I know I was very loved. What did you kind of like best about this look, and what do you think she could have maybe changed?
To be honest, I think this is one of her most regal looks. I was never a fan. It didn't even, not like you said, that tiara never even grew on me. I just couldn't stand it. But
Yeah,
it looks better on her just because it's fanned out in a kind of way that just it didn't work with the late Queen. What I like is that we've actually got several generations of rubies here. So the necklace is from Queen Victoria, the tiara is from Queen Elizabeth, and then the earrings are Queen Camilla's. So that's quite a nice touch,
yeah, that's a very nice.
bringing all
Yeah,
three of
part of the
them
continuity.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a wonderful look, and it goes very well with the dress.
exactly. And the mixing and matching of different styles and eras, it does seem to really complement each other very well.
Mm.
So no, that was quite lovely. And like you said, like probably her most regal look to date. I like this much better than seeing her in the sapphires.
Yes, no more sapphires, please. Till next
No
year,
more
maybe.
Yes.
Let's get
No,
some
I think
emeralds next.
yes. And in the next slide, we also got a very rare surprise from the Princess of Wales, which is the iconic Strathmore rose tiara that people have been dying to see for the past 90 years at this
Yep.
point.
I
And
yeah.
yeah, it's really lovely. It's, I think, in a sense, smaller than what I expected, even though I shouldn't be that surprised, but it is a bit smaller than, especially like the way it was worn. Because on the Queen Mother, because she wore it so low on her forehead, it made it seem like it would probably have like a much wider frame that would fit around her head. But this, it's definitely suitable for an event like this, where it's a Republic state visit. It's not too grand in the long term. And with Camilla wearing a big tiara, the other ladies definitely wore smaller tiaras, so it fit in with that theme.
Yes, it was. I mean, I was weirdly out that night, so I wasn't checking social media as much as I should have been. But yeah, when I finally did sort of get onto Twitter, it was an amazing surprise to see that the Strathmore A still exists and B was being worn by Kate. I think that's a fantastic tribute, and some are saying perhaps a subtle sign about Kate's positioning within the royal family. Is she going to take after the Queen Mother more than perhaps the late Queen? So the fact that she's been given access to these very old jewels and very sentimental jewels because King Charles was very close to his grandmother. Is it a sign of things to come?
Yes, very much. And the fact that she paired it in this way with the Queen's earrings and this tiara, it was a very almost understated look, and it allowed Queen Camilla to shine. You can really tell the ladies had put a lot of effort into coordinating their looks to allow Camilla to take the star. And even though they did debut kind of interesting jewels, they were not really the star of the show.
No, the only thing I will say, and it's just a little thing, I her hair, but you know what I'm like with tiara hair.
Yes.
I think the hair that she had for the was it the diplomatic reception where she wore the red gown with the lotus flower and it was more of like a,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
Like it's early like wedding looks.
Yes.
Crown Prince, yeah, that sort of big hair down tiara moment.
Yes, that's the only drawback that you're going to get out of me for this one, but yeah, next
Yeah.
time.
No, I like the gown. I saw from someone who on TikTok, who we are both definitely not friends with, but they stated that this gown may have been made for the coronation because it has the same heraldic motifs, and they also believe that there were two gowns for the coronation itself. So the
Hmm.
fact that there were so many different kind of coronation gowns, and we saw Sophie repeated hers, but this is like I am a bit kind of curious how many white gowns with kind of similar silhouette cape sleeves do we need?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they buy in bulk for these things. Like, it's like, she's going to have plenty of occasions to wear it. She might as well start. Maybe they
Yeah.
got while you're at it, yeah, because you did me five more of those.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, when she starts doing the state openings of Parliament, she'll have like a dozen white dresses to rotate every year.
Yeah, but who knows?
Who knows? But no, it was a nice look. I liked it. Prince William looked nice. Not much to say about the orders. Kind of everything kind of typical. No family order yet from King Charles, because they say it's under construction. Basically, it's not ready yet. There will be one, but who
Yeah,
knows when.
which will be interesting because there's no way he would have. They're usually painted. They're usually painted and they're usually painted on ivory. There is no way in this day and age, and especially given William and Charles's
Ivory.
ecological.
Yeah. And
uh,
Kate got hers made on glass, so they wouldn't have done ivory anyway.
exactly. So I'd love to know what is taking so long.
Yeah, I mean, they could reuse a couple of the old frames and that sort of thing, and do something if they're really concerned about being economical and making diamond frames in this day and age. But
Yeah, I mean, if the rumors are true, not only are there vaults loads of tiaras under Buckingham Palace, there's also mountains of loose stones. So
Oh yeah, I would not doubt it.
yeah.
That sounds like a very kind of conspiracy theory WhatsApp uncle thing to say, but they did have a lot of colonial wealth. Yeah. So
Yeah.
well, let's move on to the next tiara, which was Princess Anne, who wore her diamond festoon tiara with the festoon necklace and her bow brooch. And this is actually something that I find really interesting because I recently covered Anne's the 50th anniversary of Anne's first wedding last week. And she got the tiara right before the wedding. She got that brooch for as a wedding gift from King Charles, and the necklace was a 18th birthday gift from the Queen's parents. And again, one of those, none of these jewels were kind of bought together, but they do make such a nice pairing with
They
each other.
do, yeah. They make a very lovely parure.
But and that gown that she's wearing, she debuted for her 70th birthday portraits, and Anne looked lovely. And I think this is her first tiara event in like 4 years. But I was struck by like how much older she looks, and you can really tell that the past few years have been quite stressful for her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
She is like so busy and still like one of the hardest working members of the royal family, but time does take its toll.
Mm.
Yeah, but these two portraits, people can see, are 50 years apart, and she still has the same iconic hairstyle.
I like it. No nonsense. You know what you're getting.
Yes, no, she knows exactly like what she is, and she's not about to change that. So
Exactly.
something to be admired there. But no, she was the same age as me in that picture. So to think if I have the same hairstyle in 50 years, it's a scary thought. Yeah, no, let's move on to the next slide where we saw the Duchess of Edinburgh, who wore her aquamarine necklace tiara with her coronation gown. And I must say, compared to all the other tiaras and jewels and stuff, this was a bit underwhelming for me.
Yeah, I don't. Sorry, I've just noticed that nice equerries in the back. Sorry, got distracted there for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of this one. Never been a fan. I get
I mean,
it.
it's better than that other aquamarine flower tiara she wears and her wedding tiara, but still,
Yeah, it's just not for me. Never liked it. Never been a fan. I mean, I understand it was kind of after Diana, the thought of giving the daughter-in-laws anything historic was kind of like, oh, let's see if they make it. Sophie's
but
made
I
it
mean,
now. Let's give her
yeah,
the keys to the vault.
I mean, Sarah got that tiara, which is much better than this.
Yeah.
So I mean, she's worn a lot of like parures and stuff from the Queen's collection over the years, and I kind of wonder if they might even inherited something because like she had a lot of modern necklaces that Sophie and Edward, but like it would have been a good opportunity to wear them.
Yeah, but as we say, we've got had two surprises, so maybe they're just
Yeah,
gearing up for Sophie's surprise.
I know. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so.
We don't see her at the diplomatic reception, which would be such a nice thing because we get some variety for that.
Mm.
No, it was a nice appearance overall. Something someone else said on social media is that the outfits worn by Kate, Sophie, and Anne were all white, and they were wondering if maybe that's what they were intending to wear for the coronation before the no tiara signal was put out there.
Maybe.
So, like, with this tiara, and this was kind of like the looks that they were planning on.
Okay, yeah. Oh, maybe.
That would have been interesting because like Sophie and Kate had no necklace, which would have been hidden by the robes of their orders anyway. We on the day itself, if we got this, would we have been less disappointed or more disappointed? I'm not too sure, but interesting kind of theory to think about.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then we can move on to the other tiara surprise that we got that night, which was the Duchess of Gloucester wearing Princess Alice's diamond bandeau tiara.
Which this how vast the Gloucester's collection is. I've never even heard of this one. Where's this one
Oh,
from?
really? So basically, Princess Alice's father died like 3 weeks before her wedding. But
Mm.
before that, he bought her this tiara.
Ah.
The clips, so it's based has different like Art Deco diamond clips, and the Duchess actually wears them quite often as brooches. and the three like main central elements, and she can wear them with diamonds. And I believe emeralds is this one. There's one other option as well, so it's pretty versatile piece. And if they kind of have a much smaller collection, she would have made a lot more use of it. But we haven't seen this since 1974.
Wow.
So
So
that's like estimate to the size of the Gloucester jewels. It's like,
yeah, well, I think after the main branch, they're the ones with the good stuff still.
oh, very much. Yeah. And then
Um,
this emerald necklace and the brooch, and it's like the whole collection of jewels is like very impressive. And this is like one of their like sixth or seventh, like in ranks of seniority of like the jewels that they could wear. So quite impressive.
God, could you imagine what we would have had if the others hadn't sold everything?
Uh, yeah. It would have been such a pleasure to see that.
Oh, oh well.
All those jewels of Princess Marina.
Still hurts. Still hurts.
Yeah. I mean, and one of the things I actually found very interesting, kind of connection with like Strathmore, is that we saw the debut of kind of three wedding gifts at this banquet, where Camilla was wearing the Burmese ruby, which was made from rubies given as a wedding gift to the late queen. Kate was wearing the Strathmore rose, which was a wedding gift to the Queen Mother, and then this was
And this
wedding
was
gift to
like,
Princess
yeah.
Alice.
And then Princess Anne had her wedding gift on. Oh, okay, get it.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe Sophie's tiara was actually a wedding gift at some point. She didn't really
Yeah.
wear it, so it's like very like there was definitely some sort of underlying theme, and the ladies wearing smaller, lesser tiaras for this event does reflect that, because in the past we've seen them kind of wear their, if it's state banquet, they're wearing their largest jewels anyway, or their only jewels. But now there's a bit more kind of variety coming into it, which is quite an interesting change to see.
Yeah, well, we're all for it.
And something for us to discuss.
Exactly. Keeps us employed.
Definitely. So here you can see Princess Alice wearing the tiara in the 50s, and you can see the Duchess wearing it at that aforementioned banquet in 1974. I've been waiting to do an article on this for Princess Alice's 20th anniversary of her death next year. So to read the full kind of article on that, you'll have to wait for that. But it is quite an interesting piece. And really one of the most like versatile jewels out there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Gloucester collection, as well as being, well, we'll see in a bit, beautiful, is unbelievably versatile.
Definitely. And if you move on to the next slide, you'll see what the Duchess wore the following evening at the Guildhall banquet hosted by the Lord Mayor of London, which is the Gloucester honeysuckle tiara with a bunch of massive topaz and diamond jewels, which they inherited from Queen Mary.
Yeah, and as I just said, very versatile. That topaz, pink topaz in the tiara could be swapped out for a big emerald. Am I right?
Yeah, big emerald, and at the original setting is just a honeysuckle
Yeah.
as well. So
it's got 3 settings.
And I mean, Queen Mary wore that Russian sapphire brooch that Camilla wore in the center here as well.
Oh, 4 settings. Okay.
And the Cullinan 5 brooch, so
5
settings.
settings. Okay.
So the fact that Queen Mary had like a good like 20 plus tiaras, but still felt the need for them to be so versatile is very interesting.
Yeah.
But then when you have to wear a tiara every night,
that
day
was
in,
it.
day out,
Yeah. That was, yeah.
you needed some variety.
Exactly. But no, it's a beautiful suite of jewels. Those, I mean, if you can see on the right hand side, if you're watching the video, you can definitely see what happens when diamonds catch the light. It's so beautiful and sparkly.
Yeah, and you can see so this the pendant that's attached on the necklace, the beautiful pear-shaped topaz. That's actually previously just been worn as a pendant from pearl necklace. This is the first time the Duchess has attached it to this necklace. And it's nice that even like after all these years, she still brings some versatility into her collection. And those bracelets that she has this one huge topaz as a bangle, and there's like set of 4 diamond bracelets on the other arm, and that was this soutoire given to Princess Alice by the City of London in 1935, and the banquet they're attending, the Guildhall, is hosted by the City of London.
It is
So
indeed.
there is a touch there, and this is actually it can be worn as a long chain and also as a smaller necklace, and it was worn earlier this year by her daughter at the coronation.
Wow.
That was one of the few necklaces we got there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they do have a very impressive collection, and the fact they've managed to hold on to it, I think they need to give classes.
Yes, and let's hope they continue to hold on to it for a couple generations more.
Yes, or maybe I'll get my wish and we'll get a dual foundation set up.
Yes, or maybe Sam could become the next Duchess of Gloucester and give us a chance to win.
Doesn't have any sons to wait. Hold on. We'll talk about this off mic. My devious
Yes.
plans.
Oh, let's do that. Okay. Moving on. We saw quite a lot of noble tiaras at the state banquet as well. On the right hand side, you can see Catherine Lady Brooke, who's the daughter of Lady Susan Hussey. She was wearing the Waldegrave tiara, which comes from Lady Susan's family. Lady Brooke is one of the Queen's companions, and so she attended the banquet in that capacity. Also, there was Lady Sarah Keswick, who we discussed in our previous episode about the state opening parliament. And you can just see her wearing the fringe tiara that she wore there. Beside her is this lady in an unidentified tiara. She was also at the state opening of parliament. I believe she may be Viscountess Hood, who is a cousin of Hugh Grant. But
Okay.
we have a picture from the 90s to confirm. I will share that with you later. Maybe we can reach some conclusion.
No.
But she's one of those like big mistresses with a pretty nice tiara on, but nobody knows who she is. And then, so these were the ones that we could identify. These two ladies also had pretty impressive tiaras on, but we have no clue who the hell they are.
Well, I can barely see the one on the right, so that doesn't help.
That does not help. But no, quite impressive. And there were a bunch of kind of nobles there, so probably one of those.
Yeah.
And the fact that lady has the queen, not the queen's, but the Royal Victorian Order, and a bunch of medals means the lady on the right means that is definitely a courtier, maybe Princess Anne's lady in waiting,
Maybe.
or someone like maybe the Duchess of Gloucester's lady in waiting because she has one too.
Oh.
So definitely it could be one of those, and the tiara looks pretty impressive despite the blur. She was right behind the prime minister, and there's like a billion photos of him, but none of her in
Oh,
focus.
how annoying. Well, if anyone's got
Yeah,
one, do send it through.
yes, please. And then I think we reached the final slide over here. What did you think about this banquet, Kate and Sam, and how do you think that this kind of sets a tone for the future of King Charles' reign?
Well, like I say, I got in after having a very eventful evening, and I was just blown away by the variety, the how to put it, variety of it, the fact that this thing that I mean, the Strathmore of all things was, I think, the one that blew everyone away. We haven't seen it in 90 years. The Queen Mother wore it once for some wedding photos. The fact that it still exists, I mean, it was photographed in the early 2000s, but a lot of people were speculating that it was too fragile to wear, which I don't see how, but hey
Yeah.
ho. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's a lovely sign of things to come that uh King Charles is not afraid to root around in the vaults, and maybe some of our tiara wishes might come true.
Yes, please. And one of the things I want to add before we finish is that the Strathmore rose can originally be worn with 5 sapphires in the middle of the flowers. And that would be quite a lovely kind of way to make it more versatile if Kate, this is going to be like the one of those new tiaras that Kate's going to keep on wearing for years on end, is to get like, she has a bunch of nice sapphire jewelry already. And just if that was paired with this, it would create like a different kind of set of stuff that she could wear.
You could pair them with Diana's sapphires. Interesting, interesting.
Place. Or even the Queen Mother's sapphire fringe earrings that she's worn a bunch of times this
Ah,
year.
ah.
So there's a bunch of kind of versatility, and the fact that they are playing around with the jewels does make me a lot more hopeful for what we'll see from now on.
Yes, same here. Fingers crossed. When's the next big one? Diplomatic one.
Yes, and hopefully the next 2 weeks.
Oh,
So we
okay.
have a lot of tiaras to look forward to, everyone. There's the Nobel Prizes, there's a diplomatic reception, there's the Korean president and first lady are going to the Netherlands next month.
Hey,
And Maxima will not disappoint.
fantastic. Good to hear.
No, it should be quite a lovely kind of state visit. If the Brits have rolled out the red carpet for the Koreans, it'll be fun to see what the Dutch do.
Yeah, definitely.
So wonderful to talk to you today, Sam,
You
and
too.
we'll test tiaras next time, hopefully.
Yeah. Bye.